Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 7th of October 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. Okay, guys, so the risk disclaimer doesn't want to show up. I'll give it a few more seconds. And it seems that it has frozen a little bit. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation. It should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay guys, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our research page here, which is also updated here on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here, so feel free to visit us on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right here. But for now, let's jump into the charts. Now, a quick mentioning of the DAX here. I've talked about this one this morning, so I just wanted to kind of give you a quick update on what's happening. So what I was talking about this morning was that in a way, we could see this one traveling a little bit higher here today, but in a way it could find some resistance near the 12,080 zone, or even this this 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So it never kind of traveled further above the 12,080 territory, and you can see now that the index is reversing back to the downside a little bit. Of course, still, in a way, if it doesn't travel further down here, if it doesn't travel below the 12,000 zone, then we could still see a bit of correction here to the upside, and we're still keeping an eye on this 200 EMA, because we could be seeing another round of selling later on if it struggles to push above the 12,142 territory here. So, and that's basically the low of the 25th of September. If we get a nice push above that level, above the 12,142, then yep, we will aim for slightly higher levels. As you can see by the chart here that I've drawn, for us to get comfortable with higher levels in the near term, or I would say a push above the 12,500 level, approximately around there, is needed. So that's why I'm keeping this one for now, for the future, because it is quite a big area here to miss out on. So in a way, if we start seeing a push above the 12,142, we are going to be aiming for slightly higher levels. The only thing is that we're going to have a very tight stop loss in place, just in case this suddenly reverses from these EMAs here, or from this 12,312 territory. So for now, keep your eyes on that. But at this point in time, if it is kind of currently correcting a little bit lower, but again, it's not kind of moving below the psychological 12,000 zone. So that's why for now we are going to keep in mind this scenario where we could see a bit of more upside and then another round of selling. So keep your eyes on this one. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, again, last Friday I looked at this one, and basically what I was saying, that if we see a hold up around here, below the 26,415 territory, then we could see something like this happening, where the index would reverse back to the downside and move lower. But as you can see, on Friday, the index managed to close above this territory, above this 26,415, and also above the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So in a way, it increases the chances for a further move higher. The index, of course, is right now slightly below the Friday's close, but still above this 26,415 territory. So in a way, what we could see here is something like this, where we could, in a way, see it drift a little bit lower, but if it struggles to to move below the 26,415, or in other words, let's say if it struggles to close below this territory, then we could see something like this happening, where this one could curve up to the curve up and move towards this tentative downside, short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 12th of September. So keep your eyes on this one. It could be an interesting one, but for now, of course, the big question here is what it will do with this territory right here around its 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and which is around the 26,415 level. So keep your eyes on that one. US oil, so WTI oil, I talked about this one this morning, and we were still hanging around just fractionally below the downside line. And what I was saying, that even if we see a push above it, we need to see a nice good clear move above the 53.33 zone before examining higher levels. For now, we can see that the commodity is moving above this level. Of course, this is creating this more of a positive picture right now in the short run. But ideally, well, let's see if we get a nice good close of a 4-hour candle above this. If we do, then we will aim for the next potential area of resistance near the 54.73. But if that fails to hold, yep, this could travel all the way towards the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, or this 56.84-85 territory marked by the near the highs of the 26th of September. So for now, it is interesting. It is interesting for the buyers. Again, it is breaking this 53.33 level. If it stays here, if it at least closes a 4-hour candle, then there's a good chance we could see this one drifting a little bit higher here. But if it comes back down again here, this is our neutral territory in a way, because we're not going to do anything here. We're not going to over speculate on this one too much. For us to examine lower levels, a drop below the 52 zone would be needed. So wait for this one, guys. Gold. Gold is also a quick update on this one. I talked about this one this morning, and we were still hanging around here around the 1505, if I'm not mistaken. But what I was saying, that what I was hoping to see here is a bit of more upside, maybe a test of this this falling channel formation, this short-term falling channel formation, and then a move lower. But as we can see, gold decided to move down straight away, so it's now currently kind of balancing above this 1495 zone, 1495, 96 area, and around its 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So what I was saying, that if this scenario here, this first curve down here, could be a scenario for those who are more on the riskier side, who like to maybe risk a little bit more. But for those who are more on the cautious side, then a drop below the 1495 zone could in a way do the trick here, and we could see further declines and a further move inside this falling channel formation. So that's why, guys, for now, be very careful. We cannot really say that this is going to drop lower. We need that confirmation break first. For now, it's not happening. In a way, also do not exclude a possibility of maybe this one holding up here and then reversing and pushing to the upside here, and then if we see a break of this upper bound of the falling channel, then yep, we could consider higher levels, maybe going back towards the 1557 territory. But until we see that break, until we get that break, we're not really examining any upside for now. So guys, that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this one. It's better to be safe than sorry, so keep your eyes on this falling channel formation for now, and especially keep your eyes on this level right, this 1495 zone, approximately around there, maybe just slightly above it, but just a few ticks maybe higher. But still, the 1495, a drop below this would could open the path towards slightly lower levels here. Initially, we'll aim for the 1484 and then maybe the 1475 zone. So, but of course, our main target is around here, near the 1459 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Ripple, very quick update on this one as well. I've talked about the Ripple this morning, and what I was saying, so we were hanging around still around here somewhere, just below the 0.27 level. So what I was saying, that it may continue traveling higher because today, this morning, it managed to nicely break this key area of resistance at 0.2630, and the crypto now is aiming for this downside resistance line. And just to show you what that line is, and this has been running, this is a bit of a tentative one, I do understand that, but that's running from around the 22nd of June. So I do understand we have a bit of a gap here, so that's why we're not going to be focusing on this line too much. We're just going to keep it as a reference here. But our main level to watch will be this one right here. Let me just quickly put this one on the chart. There we go. So the 0.2872, 73 zone, approximately around there. This is going to be our level to watch. If we see a hold up around here, we could see the crypto reversing back to the downside. So we could see something like this happening. So that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on this one. It is aiming for higher levels, but it has a bit of an obstacle here above, so near the 0.2872, 73 zone. Let's see if it actually gets a hold up around here. If it does, then we could see aim for a bit of correction. Now, the correction, even though I've drawn this arrow towards the 0.2630 level again, what we will keep an eye and keep in mind as well is this little tentative upside support line. So although we have a nice, good kind of combination here of this level here and this upside support line, so basically this territory could play out nicely as a good area of support. We will keep that in mind, but again, like I said, for us, it's mainly the levels that we're keeping an eye on. So because this upside line here is a bit of a tentative one, so in a way it could get broken easily and violated easily, and it could in a way drop a little bit lower, then quickly reverse back to the upside. And so we've seen these happening. So that's why for now, these two lines, the downside and the upside, they're going to be more of a more tentative ones, mainly focus on the levels. So if we get a push above the 0.2873, then yep, we will aim for our next potential target, and which is around here, and that's approximately around the 0.3083 territory. So keep your eyes on this one. But our scenario that we're keeping in mind right now is this one right here, where we could see a test of the 0.2873. Maybe if it gets a hold up around here, we could see the ripple sliding back down, maybe for a bit of correction. And then we'll take it from there. Jumping into a few pairs now. So NZDCAD, now something that I really want to show you, and it's quite an interesting one. So basically, after reversing to the upside here on the 1st of October, it continued to drift higher. It went up here. This is a 4-hour chart, by the way. It went higher. It tested the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, overshot a little bit, hanged around slightly above it, and now it's kind of drifting back down again. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be a move all the way here back towards the 0.8234, 35 territory. No, because there is a bunch of EMAs here that could, in a way, keep the rate up as well. So for now, even though it is sliding a little bit lower, for now we are seeing this as a bit of a correction because, and I wanted to quickly show you something here as well, guys. So basically, if we draw a Fibonacci right now, so we can see that the pair is currently balancing near its 0.32, sorry, 38.2% on Fibonacci retracement. So it's currently at a nice potential area of support, good area of support. So in a way, what I'm leaning here to is that in a way, this move lower could be seen as a correction. So so we may see this one reversing to the upside again. So basically forming a higher low and then moving to the upside. But again, this is just an idea for now. I'm kind of in a way getting ahead of myself a little bit here, because for us to examine higher levels, ideally we would need to see a push above these recent highs, the highs of last week near the 0.8438, and only then aim for higher levels, because this way, the pair would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yes, the path could be open towards the 0.85 zone or even above that. So for now, yes, we are sliding a little bit lower. We do have a nice area of support here around the 0.8329. If if it struggles, let's say, to move below this, then yep, we will consider this as a move lower, and we could potentially see a move back to the upside here. But again, we will only get comfortable with higher levels only on a break here above the 0.8438 zone. So that's why for now, keep your eyes on this idea, of course, that I've just mentioned, that we could see this one forming right now a higher low. But if it suddenly, let's say, starts dropping below the 0.8329 zone, yeah, this is where it could become a little bit more tricky with the upside, and we could in a way consider a possible move back down here towards the lows of the of October, or the current low of October, and that's around the 0.823435 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. USDCHF, very quick mentioning of that one. I've looked at this one previously, and basically for about 2 weeks now I've been talking about about this kind of channel, this rising channel formation, and after last week's kind of roller coaster ride here, as you can see, so it did travel higher. It made a move above the psychological 1 barrier. It managed to reach an area around the 1.002728 zone. And then from there, it kind of sold off again, traveled to the downside, but again, closer to the lower side of the rising channel. But again, it's not really kind of hitting that. So in a way, for now, we are going to examine this scenario where, even if it travels back down here a little bit, if it fails to move below the lower side of the channel, then we could see another round of buying here. But if, let's say, in the scenario, if it doesn't travel to the downside and it doesn't test the lower side of the channel, then we will keep an eye on this level right here, the high of today, and that's around the 0.996465 zone. So if we get a nice push above this, then yep, we will aim for the next potential target around the psychological 1 level, or even the 1.0008 zone. So you can see this little high here that we had on the 4th of October, but slightly above that we do have that the highest point of last week, and could be a nice target as well. But for now, until we see a push back above the 0.9965, we're not gonna even look at the upside. For now, we are more neutral on this one. For us to get comfortable with the downside, we would need to see a drop not only below this lower side of the channel, and not only below the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, but also below the 0.99 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. And the last pair for this session is going to be euro dollar. Again, as I said, as I called it this morning, a bit of a annoying pair, and it's a bit confusing, let's put it that way. So it doesn't really know what it wants to do, but this is what I was talking about this morning. So for us to consider, let's say, some declines here, ideally we would like to see a drop below the 1.0943, and then kind of aim for slightly lower levels. But even then, we will be very careful and cautious here, because it could get another hold up around maybe the 1.09 zone, and we could see maybe a rebound and a push back to the upside. But again, this is just a bit of speculation here. But for now, today we saw the pair moving towards the, or should I say, failing to test the 1.10 zone, the psychological 1.10 zone. But we're still keeping an eye on it, because if it gets a nice good break above it, then we will consider a possible test of this downside resistance line taken from the high of June. But for us to get comfortable with, let's say, further moves higher, well, ideally we need to wait for a push above the 1.1024 zones, around there, and this way, if we get a push above the 1.1024, the rate would be above its downside resistance line, above its 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and yep, in that case, more buyers could be joining in and seeing this one as a possibility to kind of lead it to or drive it towards the 1.1110 area, which is a fantastic area of resistance here. So that's going to be our first target, but only if we see a push above the 1.1024. For now, it's stuck. We cannot really aim for the downside yet, because it's kind of stuck here. It's kind of close, very close to this downside line, but not really, because it still cannot overcome the psychological 110 zone. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. Keep your eyes on these two highlighted levels that I've mentioned. So let's see which way that's gonna move, but hopefully it will make a move soon. So because for now it's just kind of ranging here, so and it's keeping us a little bit neutral here. So for now, keep your eyes on that one. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT. For now, I hope you have a beautiful evening, guys, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.